Good day everyone. Welcome to JBSWiki. Today we have an exciting and practical topic lined up for you. We'll be diving into the world of Azure SQL Database Management, focusing on a critical aspect of database performance, index maintenance. Managing indexes manually can be a daunting task, especially in the Azure cloud environment. But fear not, in this video, we'll walk you through a step-by-step guide on how to automate Azure SQL Database index maintenance using Azure Automation account and PowerShell runbooks utilizing SQL logging. As we know, Azure SQL Database doesn't have SQL Server agent, hence we will be utilizing Azure Automation account and PowerShell runbooks in this video. In today's video, we'll explore the powerful combination of Azure Automation account and PowerShell scripts utilizing SQL login. We will show you how to set up an Azure Automation account, create a PowerShell runbook, and schedule it to automate the entire index maintenance process for your Azure SQL databases. By the end of this tutorial, you will not only understand the importance of automated index maintenance, but also gain practical skills to implement it in your own Azure environment. So if you're a database administrator, developer, or anyone interested in optimizing Azure SQL database performance, you are in the right place. Make sure to watch till the end as we will provide you with useful tips, best practices, and real-world examples. Let's jump right in and learn how to automate Azure SQL database index maintenance using Azure Automation account and PowerShell runbooks utilizing SQL login. Let's get started. We will first create an automation account that is required for scheduling index maintenance on Azure SQL database. Let's click on create here. Let me utilize this particular resource group called pgsqldb. Let me name this automation account as PG Auto account. I will leave it in region East US. Let's click on next. So I'm going to keep this as default. I'm going to have this public access here. I will leave everything as default here. Let's click on next, and then let's click on create. Let's wait for this to complete and we'll take it from there. Okay, so the deployment is completed. Let's go to the resource, and this is the automation account that we have created. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on modules here, and then here I'm going to click on browse gallery, and then search for SQL Server. And if you see here, we have this module here, SQL Server. Basically, I'm installing this SQL Server PowerShell module because we will be utilizing the PowerShell script to execute the required index maintenance. So that is the reason I'm installing it here. So let's click on select here. Let's select the required runtime version here. I'm going to select 7.2, and then let's click on import. Let's wait for this to complete, and if you see here, just search for the import. Let's do a refresh, and then check if SQL Server is there or not. SQL Server. So it's currently importing. So let's wait for this for the import to complete, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so the import is completed. Now I have this module SQL Server installed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head on to the credentials here, and then I'll be creating a credential here that will allow me, that is allow the automation account to connect to the SQL Server. That is, in our case, it is going to be an Azure SQL database. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head on to the Azure SQL database. And then in my case, I'm going to use this login, which is called JBWiki2K1. But in your case, whichever login is appropriate in your Azure SQL database, you can use that. So let's head back to the Azure portal and then click on add a credential here. And then let's give a name as JBWiki2K1. That's the name that I'm going to use. You can use whatever name you want, but this username should be same as the login that is present on that particular Azure SQL database. And specifically, here we are going to use SQL Server login. Yep. So we are going to use an SQL Server login to connect to the Azure SQL database from your automation account, and then you will be performing the index maintenance. So let's click on create here. So the credential is created now. Now that the credentials are ready, what we'll do now is like we will go up and then click on this Runbook here. And then now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just click on this create a Runbook. And then we need to name this. So what I'll do is like I will name this as part of my SQL server, which is basically pgsqldb server. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to name this runbook as pgdb SQL server index maintenance. And then what I'll do, I will select the runbook type here as PowerShell here, and then I will use the 7.2 as preview. You want to give any description here, go ahead and do that. Yeah, in my case, I'm not going to do it. So let's click on create here. Let's wait for it to get created. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is like we have this PowerShell runbook. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this particular PowerShell script to execute this index maintenance on that particular Azure SQL database. Yeah. So Azure SQL Server name, you just need to give the name here. So no need to give this database.windows.net, because what happens here, basically like this gets added up here. So if you give it as the Azure SQL Server name .database.windows.net, then it gets duplicated here. So just give the Azure SQL Server name here, and also the database name here. So in my case, these are the information here, and the most important thing is like the credential that you have created, you will have to give that credential name here. Yep. So this will pick it up from there, and then basically the authentication happens, and then it will basically invokes the SQLCMD, and then what we are basically doing is like we are authenticating this username and the password, and the password will be taken from the credential, and then we will be basically executing this particular query that is present in the query section on this particular database, and in our case we have provided the database name above. Now the important thing is like I'm using the Ola Hallengren script. You can use whatever script you have. In my case, I'm using Ola Hallengren script. You can also use Microsoft Tiger Teams index adaptive defrag as well, but in my case I'm using Ola Hallengren script. So now as far as the Ola Hallengren script is concerned, now that this is what we are going to use, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to search for Ola Hallengren script. I'm just doing a Google search, and then going to this SQL Server index whatever on statistics maintenance, and then what I'm going to do, click on this download here, and what I'll do is like I will download IndexOptimize.SQL and command log.SQL, and then I will run those things on the SQL Server Management Studio. So now let's execute this IndexOptimize.SQL, and then the command log table. So basically, this command log table basically contains all the details of the index maintenance execution. So what we'll do now, let's close these two, and then let's do a select star from command log. So if you see here, there is nothing present in this command log table right now. So now what we'll do, we will initiate the index maintenance using the runbook, and then we will see if the index maintenance is happening or not. Let's head to the runbook that is present in the Azure portal. Now that we have created the required stored procedure index-optimize, now what I'll do is I will click on save here. And then once the save successfully saved runbook, now I'm going to click on publish. So it basically tells this will publish this version of runbook and override the previously published version. Do you want to proceed? I will click on yes. Now that this is published, what I'm going to do is I will click on start here once it is enabled. So let's click on refresh here. So now that we have this start button here, let's click on it. And then let's click on S here. And then let's wait for this particular job to either complete or fail. So let's wait for it, and then we'll take it from there. So you just need to click on refresh, and then you need to give it some more time here. So in case something comes up, you will get the information here. So all job output will display when the job completes. So this is the information we are seeing. So let's click on refresh. So it's going to take some time. So what I'll do is I'll pause this video. Once this job either succeeds or fails, I will resume the video back, and then we will discuss further. It is completed now. That is what I'm seeing here. Let's click on errors and see if we have anything here. And if you see here, I'm able to see that there is an error which basically tells the term Invoke-Sqlcmd is not recognized as a name of a CM commandlet. Yeah, that is what I'm getting. But while we installed the module SQL Server, Invoke-Sqlcmd was part of it. Let's go ahead and see that. Let's go to the runbooks and then click on modules. And then let's click on browse gallery. And then search for SQL Server. Then if you see here, we are able to see that invoke SQL CMD, it is present there. So I'm not sure why we are getting that error. Now what we'll do is let's try creating add this SQL Server module, this time with 5.1, and then see if creating a runbook using 5.1 we are getting the same error. Let's try that one as well, just to make sure we clearly understand what is going on. So let's wait for the import of SQL Server module for PowerShell version 5.1 to complete, and then we will take it from there. Okay, let's search for SQL Server. And then if you see here, 7.2 and 5.1 is also installed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head back to the runbook. And then what I'll do is I will delete this one. Yeah. Before that, let me copy the required code. And then what I'll do is instead of having it in runtime version of 7.2, what I will do this time, I will create it with a runtime version of 5.1, because if you see here, the Azure automation tutorial and other things are all created with runtime version of 5.1. So what I'll do is I will create this PowerShell thing also using that is my index maintenance PowerShell runbook also using 5.1 and then try it. I just want to show like what happens when you use 7.2 and also like get to know for example if someone tries to create it by mistake 7.2 and then get this error what we can do. So now what I'm going to do click on create a runbook and then I will use pgdb SQL server underscore index maintenance, and then here I will select PowerShell, and then this time I will select the runtime version as 5.1 and then let's click on create. Once we have this, let's put the required code, and if you look at it here in my code, basically, I'm using this Vola Green script using Index-Optimize, but what I'm basically doing is like I'm using fragmentation medium or index online, offline. And then for high, I'm using online, offline again. But the important thing that I'm doing here is like the minimum number of pages is I've set it to 1. And as far as the fragmentation level is concerned, again, fragmentation level 1 and level 2, I've set it to 1 and 2. It's basically going to touch all the tables that is having a fragmentation greater than 1. I'm doing this because this is a demo, and every time I run this, it's going to remove the fragmentation level, and bringing in another fragmented table is going to be very difficult. So that's the reason I have given the values for fragmentation level 1 as 1 and fragmentation level 2 as number 2. But in reality, what you need to do is like you need to basically remove this minimum number of pages parameter here, and also like give some maybe like some meaningful value. For example, you can tell like anything above 20 or 30%, you need to do this fragmentation medium, and then as far as fragmentation high is concerned, anything about 30 or 40% according to your application requirement. But in my case, since it is a demo and I don't have much of a table with fragmentation, I'm giving this particular value. Yep. So let me save that and then let me publish it, and let me refresh it here. So let me start this job now. Okay, so the job is started now. Let's wait for the job to complete, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so the job is completed now. So let's click on the errors here. This time I do not see any errors. It basically tells like no errors found for the job. Now what we'll do is like let's head back to SSMS, and then let's execute this command and see if something is executed. So now if you can see here, the index maintenance has happened, and it is around 7 November 2023 around 1:12. So 1:12 p.m. So let's see what is the time. So yeah, it's like whatever we executed like couple of minutes before from the runbook, it has completed. So this ensures that our automation job using the PowerShell script using the runbook from the automation job is completed fine. So now what we'll do is like now that we know that the job is running fine, what we'll do now is like we will create and schedule, and we will make sure like this particular automation job basically runs depending on a schedule. Click on add a schedule here, and then under schedule, link a schedule to your runbook. Just click on it, and then click on add a schedule. Give it a name here, index maint underscore schedule. Give a description if you want. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to select a date that is going to be around Saturday, and then what I'll do is like I will execute this around let's say 11 p.m. Yeah. So I will do that, and then what I'll do is like I will select the time zone. I will select the time zone as India Standard Time. So, and then I will use the recurring, and then I will just do it as recur every week, and then I will select Saturday. Yep, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to set an expiration here, so let's click on create. Once the schedule is created, just click on OK here. And let's wait for the schedule to be seen here. You have the schedule here. So basically what is going to happen from now on after creating this schedule, this particular job will be executed every Saturday around 11 p.m. So that is what is going to happen. And this way we have successfully implemented an index maintenance job on Azure SQL Database utilizing automation account and PowerShell runbooks utilizing SQL Server Logins. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.